Hi, CMattDye here. Thanks for stopping by and checking out today's video. And today I'm talking about Token Thursday. We're talking about Cardano native tokens. That's what today is all about. So let's get into it. I'm going to talk about the top gainers of the last 24 hours, 7 days, and 30 days. And we'll talk about the best of the best. So let's get into it. Here you have your trending, top gainers, top losers. We don't want to talk about the losers, because this is all about finding good movers. So over the last 24 hours, we have Genius Yield. Genius Yield is, obviously you can see my favorites here, so I don't have to talk about it, but Genius Yield has moved very, very well recently. Genius Yield I was talking about in the Discord whenever the tokens first were dropped. They dropped to about around 50 cents. And I mentioned I'm buying under 50 cents. Hopefully some people followed me. I haven't really spoken a lot about Genius Yield since, but it was a really good opportunity to jump in. If we go to the chart, Genius Yield, and let's jump out to a daily. I don't know why it always defaults to a 4-hour. It's a little aggravating. So that would have been over here. So over here it dropped below 50. Over here it dropped below 50. And then over here it got a little bit under 50 cents. And then for the most part it has been holding up, and now it's starting to push up. There's only going to be 100 million supply, and this total supply is not out yet. So that is very interesting. Right now with Genius Yield, they dropped some of your tokens for the ISPO, and then the rest you could vest, and that's what I'm doing personally. So all the tokens that they dropped to me, plus what I have available in the ISPO that they haven't dropped, I'm staking all of that, which is pretty nice. You can use the ISPO NFT that they gave you, and then the secondary NFT that they sold that gives you an extra percentage. So you can combine all of that, which I do like. So that is a little bit of Genius Yield. That was over here around December 20, looks like the 25th, the 30th, and the very beginning of January. So that was around the time that was the best buy for Genius Yield. However, there's only 100 million tokens, like I said. If you're getting in at 1 ADA, 116, that's not a bad area. So, and especially if you got a bunch under 50 cents, being able to buy a little bit as it moves, not a bad idea. But anyway, Genius Yield, they're a DEX building on Cardano. They're doing a lot of innovative things. And whenever they do come out with their platform, which is still a little further down the road, I think it's going to be interesting. Endmaker is also kind of moving a little bit. Endmaker is really trying to build an ecosystem around minting. So they're trying to be more than just a minter, which I do like that. The team seems pretty aggressive. They seem nice. So I think they're going to do well. They have a niche cut out for them right now in the Cardano space. So I do like that. For any projects that want to mint, that don't want to do they don't have any special circumstances, they can mint through Endmaker, and that provides a good platform for people to get started. So I like that. I think it's kind of cool. Pavia is also a big mover, and Charlie 3, followed by Ajax. So talk about them. They have fallen a little bit, but you can see that 30 days, 7 days, but they are up right now, which is interesting. So I do kind of want to look at the chart. So let me pull that up and jump out. Okay, here we go. And this is looking pretty good. You can see a little bit of support here, which was around that 111 level. I don't know how much it's going to be able to get. Over 120 would be interesting. But, this move does kind of look to me like it's easily can get another move down. Even if it comes up here, it can get another move down. So I'm kind of just watching this, not entering. I don't own any, so just kind of watching it, but it's starting to look a little bit interesting right now. So those are the top gainers over the last 24 hours. Let's go to the 7 days. We have Impawa. Impawa is literally the first project I ever bought into in Cardano. I think it was October of 2021 is what I'm thinking. But that's when their founder NFTs came out. I like them. They're doing some big things over in Africa right now. They're building low emissions houses. So they're building houses for much less than they would cost here in the US. They're providing mortgages for a lot of people that were not able to get them prior. For example, they started in Mozambique and the mortgage rates were super, super high. So you had to be rich to own a house. And they've brought that barrier to entry down massively. And now a lot of other people are able to get houses. They're doing rent to own. So you are able to get a house, you pay rent, and then eventually the idea is to own the house. So they're creating a lot of new homeowners, which I do like. They're also creating a lot of new innovative ideas around like sewage and stuff like that. So I really do like them. I like the team. I'm an advisor over there, so maybe I'm a little biased, but I do like this project. Next is CMattDye. CMattDye is providing wrapped Bitcoin for Cardano, and they're in their testnet right now. They're going to be on Ergo and Cardano, and they're basically allowing you to bring your Bitcoin over, use it as wrapped Bitcoin. They minted their first, I think it's called CBTC for, CMattDye CBTC. So that's interesting. And their mainnet should be coming up soon. So I think a lot of people are getting interested in that. And that's why you've seen this pump lately. Now you're seeing this move down. It could start to get a little bit interesting, and maybe it provides a good buy point in the near future. Genius Yield is on the list again. You can see that they have been just rocketing up, and it has been lately. You can see 30 days they're up 21%, but the last 7 days they're up 29. The last 24 hours they're up 755. So that's kind of nice there. Ape Society is moving up. I think a lot of people are getting excited about a cross-chain thing that they are doing. So that's interesting there. And then A8 of Finance getting into the game. They've moved up 19% over the last 7 days, 109% over the last 30 days. They're a lending and borrowing platform. And I talked about them in my last video, and I'm going to do a dedicated video on them soon. Basically, you can lend your Cardano, you can lend a native token, and you can get any other token. So like you can lend your Clay token and get ADA. You can lend your ADA and get ADA. You can lend your Impawa for Clay token. You can do a lot of different things, and I think that's why people really do like them. A lot of people were disappointed with Liquid Finance when they came out, and I'm not here to FUD projects at all, but I got to speak my mind. I put out a video on Liquid whenever the platform first came out, and they had dropped some tokens. I think the platform might have still been in beta, and I started getting messages like, oh no, the token's not going down. If you look at this, this is a technical pattern where it's not going down, and I got a lot out of that, and it made me feel very confident in my prediction that the token was going to go down. And, I just saw a lot of false hype around it. And unfortunately, that's kind of what it is. You're going to get some more tokens unlocking going forward, and I think that's going to create some more selling, along with the platform not being what we want it to be. At least that's the vibe that I get. So AATA is getting momentum off of that, but also AATA is getting momentum off of their platform. The platform's good. I like it. A lot of people are using it. And then, Liquid kind of dropping the ball a little bit, I think brought more people into AATA. Again, I'm not trying to say anything bad about it. I got to give my thoughts. That's what this video is. So AATA doing very, very well. Going over the next 30 days, the last 30 days, CMattDye doing really well. And I'm going to drop into a chart of this and AATA in a minute. AATA doing very good, up 109%. Cornucopia is doing very, very well. You can see these two are my favorites. 88% over the last 30 days at 10 cents right now. Very, very good. And then followed by MinSwap, Mira, Ape Society, and Vi Finance. Vi Finance is another DEX that's building. They're in their beta testing right now. I'm a beta tester. I've been a beta tester since inception, so I have that cool little beta fish that they gave out for the initial beta testers. But they're up to 33 cents, up 38% over the last 30 days, down a little over the last week and slightly over the last 24 hours. So that's another DEX that's building. Vi Finance and Genius Yield are my favorite DEXs that are not out yet. I think whenever they do come out, they're going to change the game a little bit because they're both doing things differently. I like that. AATA, that's the best lending and borrowing platform on Cardano, and it's a token platform. It's not NFT. So lending, borrowing of your tokens. The best lending platform for NFTs, in my opinion, is Lending Pond. And they're doing some new things with their latest version that they're coming out with soon. I'm very excited about that. So anyway, CMattDye, AATA, they're doing very well. Cornucopias is doing well. So let's jump into a couple charts. We'll jump into CMattDye, AATA, and Cornucopias. So I like to start on a daily, but let me jump out to a weekly just to make it interesting. And it looks like straight garbage. So that 3.5 cent level is going to be interesting. Let's go down to the daily. There's that 3.5 cent level there. So I'd say 3.5 to 3.7 is going to be interesting. 5.5 should be a cap on the upside. But this movement is actually looking very, very good. I would predict between 3.5 and current levels. So 3.5 to 3.7, it should find some support and move up to another high. Whatever that turns into, most likely that would be 4.3 to 4.5 cents. So that's kind of what I would look for with CMattDye. I think that's pretty highly probable. If it does start to move down aggressively, then maybe that's not the trade. If it goes below 3.1 cents, there's an issue. But I'm thinking anywhere in here, it should find support and push it up to one more move up minimum before a pullback. So that's what I'm looking for with them. Next, let's go to AATA. Okay, here we go. And let's jump out here. We'll do a weekly again. Why not? And this has been a rocket ship. Yeah, that's about all we can say. It once it had its sell over here, you can see that some people were listed at a high. The price fell. It jumped back up very, very briefly on this and moved down, and now it's starting to push up again. Just because a lot of people are using the platform, they're enjoying it, they're having a good experience. So that is very good. And it's very good for Cardano in general, you know, being able to lend and borrow against tokens. And then you have other platforms that you can do NFTs with. And I like how platforms are specializing, you know, rather than, you know, come here and do everything. They're specializing, and that allows a lot more effort to be put into these projects. So let's jump out to the daily, and you can see here you're getting a decent move for sure. So let's see here, 150 is definitely going to be a level, 142. Those are going to be two levels on the downside. So that would be your support. Your 174. So 170 to 174 is definitely going to be a resistance. Currently 165 to 162, I'm going to call it. It's going to be intermediate resistance, and then that 174 level, if it does get above that, it can run a little bit. So that's what I would look for. You know, watch those two levels on the downside, watch that level on the upside. But right now it's looking decent. Let's see here. That actually does look good. This needs this needs a little bit more of a pullback, which would probably come into that zone that I just discussed. And then it should give us another move up prior to another pullback, and then another move up. So I'm thinking we could see over $2, over 2 ADA, $2, 2 ADA. We could see over 2 ADA on this in the next several weeks. It is possible. We could get a little rejection prior to that. It really just depends on what this chart wants to do. But I know AATA is doing big things. They don't really have another competitor. Meld is trying to do something similar. They're in testnet. They've been in testnet for a while. They're really, really slow at doing things. And I don't really foresee their platform coming in and just taking AATA down. I don't see that happening. I think that AATA's here. They're doing big things, and they're tweaking their platform. Like, they're improving it all the time. And like I said, I'm going to do a dedicated video about them in the future. But that's what I'm looking at for them. Now, Cornucopias. Let me jump into that one. Okay, Cornucopias is it's been a good mover. Let's go out to the weekly real quick, and you can see that it really has moved. That 10.3 cents is going to be an interesting level. Where was this at down here? So yeah, it's really moving very, very well right now. And maybe that 11-cent mark will be interesting. Let's jump down here to the daily. And here we go on the daily. You can see this move has, you know, really just been melting phases. It's been a very, very good move. This was your most volume here, and then you had some rejection over here with less volume. You know, it looks to me like you could easily find support around that 10-cent level. And if that's the case, we should easily see this above, you know, 14, 15 cents. If that is the case. Now, if it gets below that, you know, we can see it come down here. Anywhere between 7 and 8 cents. We could see something like that, maybe 7 and 8.5 cents. So that level there is going to be very, very interesting. 10 cents. Does it hold? Does it not? That's what I would keep an eye on. And then, you know, you kind of have to go from there. And then I kind of forgot if we had any other good ones to talk about. You know, Jins has done fairly decent. And Powa has moved and it's pulling back. So that's probably a good one to look at. yeah, let's look at Empower and Genius Yield, and then we'll end the video. Just because I don't want to make it too long, but I want to make it good. So if you guys like this style of video, let me know. If you want me to, if you would like a different style video, let me know. So this is a good move. You can see Empower hasn't really been out for very long, and it is at new highs. So that is interesting, and that is, it makes it difficult when it is at a new high because you don't really have anything to look at. This is an interesting move. You had it come up here and now it's coming back down. That's interesting, and that's usually just a sign that there's not really that much liquidity, where you have people buying it and then some people who've been probably holding over here are starting to sell it. That's fine. If it stays above that 30-cent mark, 30 to current levels, 30 to 31 cents, then we can see it continue to push up, and that should get us over 38 to 42 cents, somewhere in there over the next few weeks. That's kind of what I would keep an eye on. Now, if it does keep coming down, let's just say it breaks 30 cents, it breaks 28 cents, then you can see it come back down here. That can be a thing. That's not what I'm expecting, but it could happen. So if it holds this, look for it to push up, and over 33 cents should be able to get to 38 cents. Is what I'm thinking, minimum, and then maybe a little bit more. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with Empower. There's not a ton of liquidity on it right now. I don't know how many tokens are actually out there. This says 21 million, so I'll go by that number. The guys at Tap Tools are pretty cool, and I've spoken with them a lot about circulating supply, and we've gone a little back and forth talking about it. Great group over there, so that's not too bad. 21 million out of a 200 million total supply. That's pretty cool. And then let's talk about Genius Yield. So let that chart load and start out on the weekly. That looks hideous. 115 is going to be a resistance. That's current levels ish. Let's see, followed by 130 and 148. Yeah, this is definitely an ugly chart, but that's kind of what I would expect. It's you can see the circulating supply is not over here right now. Usually circulating supply is something that has to be reported by the project, and there can be several reasons why it's not. Maybe somebody hasn't reached out. Maybe they have and they just don't have a person dedicated to it. Maybe they have and the person who is supposed to receive that just hasn't looked at it yet. There's several reasons. So I mean, who knows why circulating supply is shown sometimes and sometimes they're not. So that speculation doesn't make sense. But I know that there's not really that much. There's 100 million total supply. There's maybe, I would estimate, 10 million, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But there's not really that much out right now. Most of it is vesting, and they'll release those, I think, this summer. But if you're staking your vested amount, then you'll get it after the staking is over. And there's a lot of people that are staking their vested amount from the ISPO, and then they're staking what they have now, and that is taking a lot off the market. So there's not really that much here, and you can see that a lot of the ones who were not staking are trying to sell, and some of the ones who are staking are actually buying more, and then some are not staking but they're still buying. So you have those three different groups, and I think it looks good. I think support anywhere from 96 cents to 106. You could argue 107. And then current levels are resistance. 130 is resistance. 148 is resistance. 160 is resistance. And 215. So those are all kind of resistance levels I would watch if this thing is going to continue to move up. I'm going to jump down to the hourly just to get a little bit more of a view of this. And you can see, if I zoom in a little too far, the most recent move, which started March 1st. So March, it has been moving up. That's cool. You know, this is my birthday month, so maybe somebody is trying to tell me to buy some more Genius Yield. I don't know. But yeah, that's a nice move. You can see a double rejection up here, and it's definitely having a difficult time at current levels. And that's why I was saying that they're having a hard time at current levels. We're definitely at resistance before even seeing this hourly chart, but seeing this, it makes it more clear. So you want to see it really hold the levels down here and start to push up. And then once it does push up, it has to get over that 123 level, and then it can start to do something. So that's what I would look for with Genius Yield. So those are the top gainers, and hopefully something resonated with you, made some sense. Let me know in the comment section below if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you around the crypto markets. Take care.